tomorrow is my anniversary, so I'm gonna make my honey a chocolate cake. This one is called a Texas hot chocolate cake, and it is actually made in a big old sheet pan like this. I think they call it a sheet pan. I call it a Texas sheet cake also. And this one is a 12 by 17. And it has to have some good sides to it because this is what we're cooking it in. It stays really thin, but it is so moist and so delicious. So let's get started. First thing we have to do is get this oven going at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then what we are gonna do, get my handy dandy instructions here. First thing we need to do is get a pan that's about, this is a medium-sized saucepan. We're gonna get that on here, and I have 1 stick of butter already in there. I'm gonna get it started at about a medium to medium high. I'm going to add to this 1 stick of butter, let's see, a half a cup of oil, and I'm using just vegetable oil. I'm going to add a cup of water right here. I am going to add, let's see, 3 tablespoons of cocoa, just powdered cocoa, unsweetened cocoa. I'm gonna stir this up, and I want to get that cocoa stirred up real good in there, and it's gonna melt that butter. You're gonna need a large mixing bowl and a sifter. I have already put 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of sugar in here. I'm gonna go ahead and sift those together. And then I have another cup of flour and another cup of sugar that I'm going to put in here and sift those together. While I'm waiting on that butter to get good and melted, stir it just a little bit. I'm going to spray this big old pan with some nonstick, and this is the kind that has the flour in it. I'm not sure how much is left in this can, and it's not much. Alright, that pan is ready. Let's see how we're doing on our butter. It is good and melted. This is just about to boil. We don't want to like boil it forever. It's just got to get to a really good boil, and then that's it. We'll be done. And there we go. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'm going to turn out this here heat. And I have my bowl here of sifted flour and sugar. I'm going to pour this in there. Now get that all stirred up real good. I'm going to get y'all in this bowl. Well, I got y'all over in the bowl and forgot to turn the camera back on. So I got that nice and smooth, creamy, and I've already added a half a cup of whole buttermilk. And I also added a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I put that cold buttermilk in there to kind of cool this off a little bit, because you do not want to put your eggs in there when it is so hot, because you'll just have scrambled eggs. So I'm putting 2 large eggs in here now that it's a little bit cooled off. And then we're also going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Good vanilla extract, not that cheap imitation stuff. I think I had my salt in that thing with my baking soda and my cinnamon. So there's also a half a teaspoon of salt in that too. Totally forgot that, you guys. It'll be in the recipe. I always put my recipe. If you're on Facebook, I put it in the comments right below. And if you are looking on YouTube or Rumble, it will always be in the description. But that is it. It is a pretty runny cake batter, so you have to kind of be careful whenever you're pouring this up in your pan and getting it down into your oven. You have to be really careful. See, if you like cake batter, this one is really good. Where are all my bowl lickers out there? All right, just kind of smooth this around where it covers all the corners. See how runny it is? There we go. Now, I'm going to put it in this oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to cook it anywhere between 20 and 25 minutes. I'm going to check it at 20, and you do it until a toothpick comes out clean in the middle. So I will be back with you guys. Well, we have about 5 minutes left on that cake. So I am going to now start my icing. So in that same pan I used earlier, I have got another stick of butter. I'm going to turn it on and get it melted. I am also going to add another 3 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa. I am going to add 6 tablespoons of whole milk. Not buttermilk this time, this is whole milk. On the icing part, you are not trying to get it to a boil. You are just trying to get that butter melted. You're almost there. That's all I have left. That little piece. Now I have got 3.5 cups of sifted powdered sugar. I did 3.5 cups, put them in my sifter, and then sifted it out. I just don't want a whole bunch of lumps, and that helps ensure that we won't have a whole bunch of lumps in there. I'm going to add about 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon to this now that it is just about done. That's it. It is all melted. Okay, I'm going to pour this in here. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to beat this up. Mix it really well. Don't want a whole bunch of lumps in there. So it's best to use a whisk for this. I guess you could use a mixer. I just don't like to use it if I don't have to. And this is one of those cakes that you do not have to use it at all. Don't have to break it out at all. If you like chopped pecans in your icing as well, this would be about the time you need to add it into here. But my honey does not, so I only put them on half of the cake. And I'm going to show you what's next. It went 20 minutes and the toothpick came out nice and clean. Now, as soon as it comes out, you want to poke it with a lot of holes with your fork. And now I'm going to take my icing. It's mixed up really good. I can pour it all over the top. If you start in the middle, it's gonna go out to the sides. So it's best to just keep it in the middle and let it flow out there. Because it's kind of got a little hump in the middle. You want to do this while that cake is still hot. I'm going to get my spatula to help me spread that around real good. Make sure everybody gets some good icing. There we go. Okay. Since I like pecans in mine, I have chopped up some pecans. I am just going to sprinkle them over one side of the cake. My dog is sniffing down here. What do you smell, Pumpkin? What do you smell? Just kind of push those down in there. If you all like pecans, you can put them, mix them in your chocolate icing. But this is the way I have to do it since my honey doesn't like them in there. And that is it. I will come back in a little while when it's cooled off just a tad and my honey gets here and we'll cut a piece. This delicious smelling, tasting cake is done. I let it cool for probably a good 30 minutes. Because if you try to take it out pretty quick, it's going to fall all to pieces because it is so moist. So, here we go. It's still pretty warm. That just means it's going to taste yummy. See how thin it is, you guys? But since we poked all of those holes in there, it makes it so moist because all that icing goes down inside of there. Let me get you up here so you can see. Yum, yum, yum. Yes, I'm eating some of his. It doesn't have the pecans on top. It's not as pretty when you can't mix them inside of there. It just falls to pieces. It's so moist. It's evil, you guys. Pure evil. There's my honey. He's coming in. Have to have a great big glass of milk to go with this. There's my baby. I'm trying to get rid of the glare. Every once in a while it shows up on my screen. I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe it's from my window. I don't know. Anyway, you guys, Texas hot chocolate cake. It's so, so good. Y'all go make you some. Bye.